All right, everybody. Here we are, another Saturday in Richmond, California. And we are 100 years being presented by the Dark Network. And before we even get started, I want to thank Don and Mr. Raven for welcoming us in with open arms to be who we are, to discover ourselves through this podcast, and just being able to just express our true selves and character based on the things that we went through in life. And so to my left, I have Patrick, a.k.a. Hamza, and to my left, I have Dante, a.k.a. Raheem, and I am Fahim, a.k.a. Lejean. And again, so we want to start today's subject matter dealing with what we all been affected with, not just in 2020 and not just 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but through our life, if we understand the BLM or Black Lives Matter. And so the subject came about because we see so much going on in the world dealing with our children, dealing with our adults, dealing with our grandparents, and dealing with us as human beings, being humiliated, being brutalized, being murdered behind the hands of law enforcement, and not just by law enforcement, but through our own selves, and how what we do affect us, and how we talk about death, turmoil, and struggle at our own hands. But when someone else do it, it's a little more worse, and it intensifies the subject. And so I want to let Brother Raheem expound on that a little more.
Yes. Black Lives Matter. That's something that I picked just, throughout the years, seeing that law enforcement, killing our young brothers. And what bothered me is that it was an uproar, and that touched me. But as I continue to think about it, when we kill ourselves, we don't have an uproar. It's like another brother just dead and gone, and that bothered me a lot. And I just want to say, to the world, is that we need to change our way of thinking. We need to start caring about ourselves as black folks, as black people, because right now, we starting to be extinct because we're killing ourselves. And we need to wake up and let's push, let's come together, let's learn, let's teach. Because it's sad. This been going on for years and years and years and years. And just to keep it clean, my hands ain't clean either. Because I took a person's life, a brother's life, and not just one, but two, so that really bothers me, because that was something, at the time that I thought had to be done. But when I think about it in reality, that was another brother that I killed, my brother that I killed. So it's sad. So we need to wake up all around the world. The whole country, because it's really sad. And like I say, it saddens me because we going to jail and we going to the graveyard. That's a proven fact. If you go to the graveyard, there's so many of us laid out, stretched out, buried up under that dirt. If you go to the penitentiary, guess what? We fill that penitentiary up. We outnumber all the other races, so we all need to wake up around the world.
Yeah, when he picked this topic, man, I didn't know really how to express the sentiment and value of why we doing what we doing, and the way we feel about it. But I could just look at the windows of my own soul and say that, me coming from 100 years and, me personally doing 30 years for being a part of taking someone's life is very, very humbling in the sense that so many of us be in prison, man. I'm looking at it from a spirit of I've been in prison for a long time for a crime, right? And it's tied to Black Lives Matter because it's black on black crime, no matter how we look at it, no matter how we justify it. The rehabilitation, the forgiveness stage come into play when we take part in somebody's lives, directly or indirectly. But, it's sad because, as much as we claim we love each other, and as much as we claim that we respect one another, hey, we got differences of opinions on that. But for the sake of, when, speaking from those that I sat in behind bars with, we speak about the details of what it means for us to be unified as a people and us be what we need to do when we get back. But, the thing that causes us to come in is taking someone else's life that so happen to look just like us. So, it's a vicious cycle that, we sit here and commonly say, but we really don't mean it deeply, what we need to do to change, right? So, you know, it's a deep topic, and it's a tough topic because it takes that one individual, or many individuals, all of us, of course, but it starts with that one individual that want to bring about change within himself. You know what I mean? Because using myself for example, who am I to take something that God created? And you know, an issue that got so strong between us, and I know we have them because you know I played the role. I didn't shot people. I didn't carry guns. I didn't roll with cats that's looking to kill people. I'm not making no excuses about it, but I'm saying, you know, once you find that deepness within yourself to say, you know, why I do what I do, the humility kicks in. You start saying, damn, I took somebody's life, man. You know, I took somebody's mother's child. Daddy's son or daughter, you know what I mean? Because women getting killed too. But, you know, it's sad, man, because, you know, once you get to that place, you know, the level of forgiveness is always something that you got to work towards, you know, with that family, first with that victim, the family, and also, man, you know, your community that you did that to, and your own family for separating yourselves from that family for the act that you committed. And let alone come out and try to live without somebody taking your life. You know, so, you know, it's a vicious cycle, man. I think that this is a touchy subject, man, and you can go on and on with this, man. One session ain't gonna do it. But, you know, we try to put our best foot forward with the topic we're talking about today.
The hurt, the pain, the turmoil that one feels when a life is taken, when a life is destroyed. And we have to understand that when we take a life and a life is taken, that a generation is destroyed because one life produces the next generation, to the next generation. So when you take that life, be it male or female, now the pain goes back to the parents, to the father, to the nieces, to the uncles, and to the society that we have plagued. So what we have done and what I have done, you know, it was very horrendous, you know, to take a life, and it can never be justified. And sad as it is, one cannot really fully understand why the things are happening because it takes very deep introspection. You have to really dig deep into yourself to understand who you were as a person, what my situation was as a person, what circumstances surrounded certain events, not just in myself, but years preceding me. Because as we all know, everything has a ripple effect. Everything has a cycle. Everything has a chain that was once connected and was broken or interrupted somewhere in there. I don't know if it's through the food, through the chemicals, through Chevron, through Ronald Reagan and the Iran-Contra scandal where they dropped drugs in our communities. All that played a part. Our domestic upbringing inside the homes, the broken parents, the broken homes, the mama being gone or the dad being gone, all those played a part. And so my brother Rakeem said that a gap in what has happened with the Black Lives Movement is that why is it an uproar when the police or an official kills us, but it's not an uproar when we pull the trigger on each other? My question is there a silence within the families or the women when their kids are again being gunned down and murdered by our own hands? Do we hear the parents?
In some cases, you do, but it's a small percentage, and like I said, not just the family member. Everybody should have an uproar, you know, when one of us get killed or one of us, you know, kill one of our own. I mean, because soon as, like I said, a law official kills a brother, I mean, throughout the whole world, they protesting Black Lives Matter, you know. So we need to start. It needs to start mattering to us. And yes, when one of us get killed, yeah, the parents, everybody should be speaking up, you know, against, you know, this black on black crime. I mean, because it's getting out of hand. It's real serious. I mean, I can just go way back from when we was growing up in the 80s. We got a problem, we gonna get them up. Mm-hmm. The next day, we cool. What's up, Hamza?
You know what's a trip? Because I was watching the news feed. A young brother ended up getting killed in Vallejo, just based on news, which is, you know, public knowledge. Now you have one day the mom is crying about what's taking place.
Yeah.
Now she talk about going in and picking up a gun and avenging her child. But the uproar is different.
Yeah.
See, so it's almost like I'm gonna do this, but I feel a certain way. So I believe that it has to be a solution
Yes.
to what's going on.
Exactly.
Especially in these small cities, and then we have to understand how the monetary gain is there when people killing each other. Who is really benefiting from we killing each other? Can we look at the rappers? We look at the girls out there who behind it. We look at the bloggers. So many people is benefiting throughout for our blood was being spilled in the streets.
And don't forget about CDC. They benefiting big time.
Exactly.
And don't forget about the graveyard. They benefiting big time.
Big time.
Yeah, it's really appalling because this is a touchy situation for me. It's hard for me to translate, what it feels like because I'm a parent, that lost his son.
Yeah,
exactly.
To black on black, right?
Right.
And so everything that you're saying is resonating with me, right? And when they came to visit me in prison, homicide came to visit me in prison after 28 years of me being in prison for taking someone's life. Right. So now here it is. They knock on the door. Hey man, we need to talk to you. So now when you say, how the families feel, right? I actually experienced that. You know what I mean? And so me being a life of crime and then call myself being pro-social, going through the things and finding myself and saying, the way I carried myself was wrong. Maturity set in for me, right? It's a process. So now I reached this point. That don't mean things is not going to continue to happen, right? Homicide coming to me and telling me, how my son was murdered, where he was murdered at. Do I have any notions of who possibly, would do this? Is it from the life you live? Is it coming back to hit me because it's my junior? Yeah. So, feeling that shock and awe, right? And then being incarcerated and then looking at, going back in the building and surrounding myself back around all men of color. Just looking at our situation as a whole, saying, man, we are the worstest problem.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We are the problem in terms of not so much like blameworthy problem, but like not, taking the time with ourselves like we're trying to do, and really starting to really have a campaign about why we do what we do and where does that lead us. Okay, even if I agree with you and say, okay, well, you did that because of the fact remains that had to be done. Yeah. It's just granted, because certain situations just be really foul. I can't speak, I don't know what it is, but now just say if that's a given. Now where you going?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because if that doesn't change you, or does it, at some point when you sit alone and say, damn, okay, that had to happen, but you should still have that empathy to say, man, damn, because you're going to feel that so they kill your mama, they kill your brother, they kill your son. That empathy going to come in for the person you love. And I'm not saying share the same empathy for the person so had put, was part of the person losing their life. But at the same time, it's not enough of that.
Yeah.
In our community, it's more so, when the police do it, there's a whole lot of man, that was wrong, man. You know what I mean? But at the same time, when it happens to each other, depending on what side they fall on, we don't really, a couple of days after the funeral, it's back to business.
Like normal program.
Then you may have something to say, okay, we're going to avenge that. That's not the solution. That's just more of the problem. It's cancerous. Yeah. You talking about going back over there and knocking somebody down, and then you come. It's one of the tick-tock things that you never really find a solution. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so. Here we come, hey man, we trying to, reach out, with a certain way you got to reach out. Yeah. You can't approach somebody and make them feel like, man, who you think you is,
Exactly.
You a good brother now. Yeah. Wait, if I go back just a few years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And say,
for real.
Hey, you Cyrene Blood from North Oakland?
Yeah.
I got that sometimes. I'd be like really laughing, but I'd be ashamed, like, man, you put in work, and it had me scared to ask. Like, what kind of work you know what I mean? But I know what it means, universal.
So is it safe to say that young brother black men don't know why they do what they do?
Yes.
And why do you think they don't know why?
I think it's because they ain't been taught far as respect. You know, because that goes a long ways. I mean, because if you just look at these young kids today, they don't care about nothing.
Okay, now, who should be there to teach them respect? Just say we got these kids who are 18, 19, 20, just after 25 years old.
Yes.
A lot of their parents, just say the dads,
Yes.
a lot of their dads are either in jail
Yes.
or dead or run around just deadbeat, not in their lives. So they learn their respect from each other based on the same way how we came off the porch, learning from inside another household or just on the streets.
Yes.
So they getting it. So basically, their understanding of respect or accountability isn't respect. Respect is to have an awe for something, have a good regard for a thing, and to honor it.
Yes.
So if they walking out and they honoring something was diametrically opposed to the true nature, true character of one's being, then it's gonna be hard for them to know because they got to get it from somewhere.
Oh, most definitely, and I agree because I mean I was in that same state of mind growing up, and I come from a good home. My grandparents, they made sure I was well taken care of all the way across the board, and so like I was saying earlier, far as change, I didn't want to change because I didn't think anything was wrong with me, and I see a lot of these youngsters that had probably the upbringing that I had. Mm-hmm. And they learning things in the streets because just keep in mind, we just gonna speak about Richmond,
right?
Right now, and all these kids, majority of their fathers and mothers, they was in the game, into the life. So, really, how they gonna teach their kids anything? Because they too busy still trying to get money or still trying to do what they want to do.
Right. Now, now that question, you just answered the question.
So now guys like us that done been through that, and probably been to the pen or whatever that happened in our life, it's time for us, to come out here and try to educate these youngsters because it's our responsibility, especially me and yours. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say, and yours too, Aki, and the reason why I say it is because of what we did, 30 years ago. Absolutely. And that had effect on the community. I mean, you might not see it, I might not think that, but if just look at society now, just look at your community, look at our community.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's our responsibility, to make sure that we can give it to them the best way we can. And we ain't going to save everybody. If it's just one or two.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. Grab him, and hopefully he can pass it on to some of his homeboys. But the thing is this, though. We need to come up with a plan to give them something. Because if we taking the guns away from them, we need to give them something positive, to go down the proper road, so they won't wind up hurting another individual or hurting somebody's parents or hurting themselves. Because if you look at it, who win? Don't nobody win.
Right.
Ain't no winners in this. Ain't no winners in the game of life. If you out there living that street life, it ain't no winners. Either you're going to be dead, or you're going to prison, or you're going to be doped out, or you're going to be running around here mentally incompetent.
And then on top of that, right, it goes even further than that. It goes, okay, just because you got away with a thing, the people that you love and care about, you putting them in danger.
Exactly.
Because, okay, they didn't get you, but they got your partner. They got your sister. They got your brother. They got your nephew. Right. You know what I mean? So now you got to live with that. That's what continues. The cycle continues because, man, they didn't hit my cousin over me. Yeah. They didn't hit my brother over me. They didn't hit, so now, man, I got to wipe them all out. Yeah. You know what I mean? And vice versa. So now you ain't coming out. Okay, we gonna get him. Yes. Because that pain, if you know what I mean. And trust me, I feel that. I feel it's vivid to me when you say it because the change has to come with the individual. And what I mean by that, let me give you an example of what I'm saying. The pain I feel about losing my son, black or black, the only way that I can resolve that because I remember myself being at the age where I came in and what I did. Yes. Mm-hmm. See, so now. I always say, who do I think I am? Why I think that, that happened to my son. Why not? It's the cycle of what we do, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I feel, okay, I changed my life. I'm trying to do the right thing, you know what I mean? Step by step, through prayer, through worship, through camaraderie of the brotherhood, you know what I mean? Through social dynamics, through positive engagement. It takes a whole lot.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Then for you not to revert, you have to move in strength with positivity, right? So now, all that being said, right, and seeking mercy from Allah, from God, right? All that being said does not exempt what may happen to one of my family members, or what may happen to in my case, my son.
Right.
So now, that's the real test. You know, when we talk about these lofty ideas, right?
Yes.
Okay, boom, that happened to me. Now, what position you got as a man, as a real man, as a reformed individual? What position do you have? Because your son got killed in your own community. You know, I believe in the rich. You know what I mean? I believe in Oakland. You know what I mean? And that happened.
Yes.
Now, because you know what we say, are you gonna let them kill your son? You know, what's your resolve? How you gonna reach the youth? By what? Example. You know, that'll make me no less a weaker man by not defending that. I ain't defending it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
See? Because that's what? That's a cycle. You know what I mean? And like you said, nobody win. Because I'm going to either get myself killed, I'm going to put myself back in prison that's going to take me away from my family that so need me. You know what I mean? We need it. Right. We don't think about all these things. You know, there's a whole lot of pieces of the puzzle that inquires when one does what he does. You know, and then, you know, we go through a long systematic process. You know, what they do. They run us, you know what I mean, through the court system. We pay, everybody get paid off of us.
Yeah.
The county for holding you, the judge for hearing your case, the DA for taking the case, the lawyer, the public. He come right in on your arraignment.
The transportation guy.
Oh, yeah, we got to know, you know, I got about 10 of you guys on my case file, so you're number 11.
Right.
You know, so that's what you mean. So we have to be sincere, and we have to lead by example, and we have to be graphic about why we doing what we doing. Right. Whether it works against us or not, we got to be truthful, you know?
Yeah,
right. Hey, and being graphic, right, is that just a couple weeks ago, I talked to a young brother. His brother ended up getting killed. And so I'm talking to him about positive change and, you know, how could we stop these things? You know, it's a lot of your homeboys who look up to you, and he known in the streets. He said, you know what, I can come with you down here, but I can't go over there. I'm like, why not? He said, because we don't get along. I said, but we out here though. He said, but them same dudes over there and had a part of who he used to be close with killing his cousin. But it happened like 2 weeks prior to that when he was trying to get himself together. He said, man, I was just driving. I don't have nothing to do with anything, but they just shoot my car up. My car over there, bullet holes in it. So now it takes back the tick for tack. Yeah. When we trying to talk to him, he said, man, for you to have been gone so long, but you still come down here and talk to us. You still come over here and talk to me. You know what I mean? And while he talking to me, he got a handful of EDD cards. Yeah. But I understand. He said now, so basically, I said to say this. You take the guns out their hands, they still need a way to try to make some money. Exactly. So, and then so now I'm watching everything go on. I'm watching backpacks here. I know what's going on. I'm watching this here. I'm watching heaters being transferred here to one over here. I'm looking like, I better get up out of here. But I know I'm doing the right thing. Yeah, okay. You know, I dropped some clothes. I dropped some little hats off, a little this face mask. I said, okay. But we can't say we want to see change within our community if we scared or refuse to go in our community where everything is happening because we was a part of it. Exactly. You know what I mean? We can't be on the outside and say, man, we want y'all to do something. Like we got these city council members here. We got different police officers here. They'll respond after the tape should have been brought in. The yellow tape should have been brought in 20 minutes ago. Then they're responding. Yeah. Instead of hearing about a thing, know something's going on. Now let's go here and take action before it gets worse. So that's what we have to start doing, I believe, as a people, as black men, as black women, and as a society at whole. You know what I'm saying? When we go through these neighborhoods, we got bad infrastructure. You know what I mean? So if you got kids and parents going through the streets and the streets need fixed, they go around, right? And end up somewhere else what's not part of their neighborhood. Because they don't want to drive that way. Yeah. Or if you got garbage everywhere, or just whatever is going on, the parks is being taken over, being littered, whatever, they go out instead of coming in. So we got to be those who was once in and say, I'm not going to be on the outskirts, but come back in where it's happening at. True enough, we might get shot, but that's a chance we got to take. That's a chance. Those are the chances that we took for being in the game.
Yeah.
So even though we not being in the, so even though we no longer in the game, but we still understand how the game is being produced, being reproduced, and being reciprocated the wrong way. You understand? When I say being reciprocated, because it's being passed back and forth differently than the way we got. Even though we got it a certain way, we still made a conscious decision to do what we did, to pick up a gun, to go shoot, for whatever reason we done it for. We still made that conscious decision without sitting back and saying, man, nah, we was hasty. And then a lot of, things what we learned throughout these rehabilitation courses and all that, but we understand what insight those causing factors and contributing factors are today. We didn't know it then. So the same thing what we learned behind them walls, we can take it to them and not even let them know where it comes from. But break that word down. And that's what it means. Oh, is that right? Man, just read that book. Here, just take that book. If you read it now, I'm going to come back and get it in 30 days. Tell me what you learned from that book. Yeah. So I understand what both of you guys are saying. We got to start somewhere because we was up in it.
Yes. This is, it's so deep rooted. I was talking to a youngster the other day at work, and I was asking him, what's going on, with these youngsters out here? And he say, man, this stuff is just so deep rooted. He said it's going to be really hard to try to change the minds of these youngsters out here, because for one, it's like, they on the revenge thing.
Yeah.
And just like you said earlier, if you got a problem with me, they see you hanging with me, they gonna get on you too.
Yep.
So that's the sad part about it. And this whole subject, Black Lives Matter, like I said, this is real deep, and it's gonna take many, many, many more of these podcasts, and just not the podcast, but us doing the work, and not just us three. We got brothers that's getting out, and we got brothers that's out here that got positive influence. So we all need to band together and, save our youth. I get it, because we were always youth before, young, and wasn't thinking hot-headed, peer pressure, what he gonna think of me? They came and did this. But it ain't about what the next man think of you. It's about what you think of yourself. And we need to get back, to loving each other. Mm-hmm. Parents today, I don't even hear them, tell their son or their daughter, I love you.
It's rare.
It's like you very seldom hear that. And so, with that being said, they don't even know how to love. Mm-hmm. So how can I love myself if I don't know how to love? My mama ain't never told me she loved me. My daddy ain't never told me, he loved me. So it's like, being that I don't know, then guess what? I'm just out here reckless. I'm just doing what I see other people doing, what people been doing for many, many years before us.
I want to say one thing. I just told two young brothers, different brothers, right the other night. We exercising, and they leaving. I said, man, I love y'all. They like, we love you too. It was like they didn't feel, they didn't see that come. They were shocked, like, wow. And I've generally meant that.
We psychologically damaged, for one. Right?
Definitely.
We grew up in a society where, just like you said, that person that you're talking about, or just say that what you identified, that trait that you identified, when he hit the street and became successful, he trickled that and taught that in the community. If he came out successful in being negative, right, then, of course, he became influential because he's at the top of the heap.
Yes.
Right? He didn't just get there for nothing. He made his way, as he said, he made his bones. He strove and got there. And he taught, because everything we all walk, we teaching somebody. So, when we in that culture and we doing what we do, like I say, when I was in it, I was scary. So my thing is, I'm going to provoke violence, to show, man, I ain't the one to be played with out of fear.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? So now, I'm trying to make it to where that seat at, or be next to that seat. You know what I mean? To where, for protection and all that. So it's a lot that goes into, I'm telling you every day, man, I may not tell you I love you, but I'm down for you. You my folks. You my partner. We ride. I'm telling you that every day. Now you get knocked down. What everybody gonna look at?
What you finna do?
What you about to do?
You was with him every day?
Yeah, what you was saying.
Yeah.
When you was on the block, You know what I mean? You was showing them things to me. So what you now I can't sit to the side.
So whether you scared or not, you obligated.
I'm obligated. So that's the impression, right? And we know it because we've been there. We know it. You know that's why we're able to talk about it right now because we know it. That's the difference between us and a lot of dudes. We was really in it. You know what I mean? We really went to prison for it. You know what I mean? We've been abandoned. You know what I mean? We've been, so the whole masquerade of how solid an individual is, you know, you perpetuate, you put that out there, but, you know, that ain't really been tested.
Exactly.
See, that's the thing, you know, because once you engage it and you really, you know, I was watching, and I'm going to end it with this. I was watching, so that's why it's like old black and white gangster movies.
Yeah.
You know, the James Cagney and stuff. And I know it sound weird coming from one, but I'm saying it was a message in that. You know, when they said Gang Cagney, when he played them gangsters movies, right, all the way through. You know what I mean? If his mama got killed, yeah, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, man. Hey, man. You know, daddy, friend, whatever, man. You know, we in this gang, we in this culture, right? So you lose all your morality, you lose all that, right? So the message was though, it was a message at the end when he was on death row, right? And the preacher came to his right-hand man, when he was running the mob, was his right hand. He became a preacher when he went in, right? But James Cagney always took it like, you know, this dude left me for dead. You know, he ain't cool. He changed his life. He weak. But what he did, he became a priest. And he came to visit him on death row when he was going to kill him. They're going to put him in a lecture chair and they're going to televise it because he was so much known in the city for doing what he did. They're going to televise it, right? So all the kids like, man, he ain't going to go out like no punk. I'm going to grow up to be just like him. You know what I mean? He ain't about to go out like no punk. He gonna go out like a gangster. So his partner came and said, one last visit. You know how you see the priest before they kill you. Mm-hmm. So, you know, one last request from the priest. So the priest tell him, man, look, he got up in there with the whole priest outfit and everything. Mm-hmm. Tell him, man, look, man, you can't go out. You can't go out like that. Yeah. You can't go out you can't go. I know that's you, but you can't do that because, man, you got millions of kids going out there airing it. They gonna put him in electric chair and fry him in front of, you know, on television, so they can show that this what happens to gangsters, right? But the way he go out is gonna be like a martyr, and that's how they gonna take it. They gonna all try to emulate him. So I'll make it real short. So the end was he like, man, I'm a gangster. I ain't going out like that. I'm going out on my feet, man. You know. So he said, man, do it for the kids, man. He didn't know that they was gonna air it. He said, this man, do it for the kids, man. That's why I changed my life. Yes. So the movie got to get bigger than you. So now, once he did that, when they showed the two guards, big guards taking him down, he did the fool. He hollered, screamed, I don't want to die, all that, right? So when he did that, and they put it on the kids looked and said, man, he went out like a punk. And that changed the dynamic. Not to say that we got to go to that extent, but I'm saying that was a powerful message. Yes. See, because our walk is our example. Exactly. Just like we walk in the day. Every day we say it here and what we try to put out, we got to live it.
Most definitely.
And we got to call each other on it. Even those as our age are still in the streets, whatever, we say we really love each other as black, brown men, or men of color in general. That's what we got to call. And that's what's missing in the groups. We'll perpetuate the negativity that one does without calling him. But we really love him, man. Man, let's check this out. You know that ain't cool. Sure. At least don't do it around me. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's a start. But now at the same time, we can't tell the next man what to do, but we say we really love each other. That's like if y'all get at me about an act. I know y'all love me, and if I really love y'all, I'm going to stop doing that.
Most definitely.
We got to get back to that.
Most definitely.
You know, so, you know, it's a lot to go with that, man.
Accountable. You know, accountability goes a long ways once you understand it and put an effect and live upon it. Because, BLM, Black Lives Matter, my life matter, your life matter. All our lives matter. We walk up this door, we see, I don't care who it may be, we got to know that their lives matter too.
Most definitely.
And so, the subject matter, this is just so deep, and as you say, you know, it's going to take many more podcasts for this. It's going to take a whole lot to just, but the main thing is to just live what comes out of our mouth. You know, act upon it. If we say we for change, then we got to keep inducing that. Just like how they when they say you're on a deathbed and they're gonna put you in a induced coma to try to take the pain away. Sometimes that's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take people to put somebody else in an induced coma, meaning to put them to sleep with something good. You know, because right now they being put to sleep at what I'll tell you, barbiturates, opiates, and every type of cookies and cream, but they spraying on these leaves and everything. You know what I mean? And so it's time for the people to wake up, because what's happening is what we see when people go into these mass hysterias is that when someone get killed, they get juiced up off all this stuff. They get, then they go into the streets and act. You know, because they see it, and what they doing, they're perpetuating a thing, and it's not just because of a law enforcement kills someone. It becomes the anger and the cry. What was, you know, said what someone was feeling from years ago. Now I'm gonna lash out this way towards law enforcement or towards whomever it may be, and that's another part what the people would never tell us. So what they're gonna do is put it on here, live stream it. This was going on because they know this is all we do. Now, without delving deep into what's behind these causes, you know, and then say, okay, hold on. If y'all go out here and do this here, what about these young babies? What's going on? What they gonna see? Exactly. What about the young? Cause these young babies is 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, gonna grow up and see mama, daddy, see brother and sister acting out and grow up, right? Because the mind is like a black tape recorder, so it's gonna take instant. So now it's gonna be the children growing up and seeing a police kill us, we kill each other. Okay, now what's behind it? The kid. Oh, I don't know. So it happened. So who gonna teach the kids?
Let me ask, can I ask something with that before when I interrupt you? You know, when we was in prison, right? You know, a lot of things we did was from a positive standpoint. Okay, we had our, you know, Nixon roosters and stuff like that. But, you know, we got to shed light on, you know, how we were, you know, some of the things that we identify with that moves our heart to talk about the subject. You know, I remember I was in a situation where, you know, we used to be in riots and, you know, trying to help brothers see that. You remember the key was, hey man, we gonna make it out. You know, none of us is no crash dummy. You know, we got to find something to hold on to, and it so happened for us was Islam, but it wasn't just saying. You know, I believe. You know, it was some well paved out examples, some solid elders that would, you know, man, look, you're not doing that. You know what I mean?
Why you sound like Ali?
Because that's one of the big brothers that influenced me. You know what I mean? And, you know, I had bruised reels a few times too. But what I'm saying is that, you know, when it came our turn, because they did their turn.
Yes.
Right? We became elders.
Yes.
And we had to provoke or perpetuate the same thing that they left us with, the Jews that left us with, because we didn't know. Right? So once we found out and we started putting it down, our whole thing was, listen, man, you know, hey, this is necessary so we all can make it home. You know, and I remember we used to say that all the time. And I remember I used to find myself in a situation where I felt overwhelmed.
Yes.
You know, and Mujahid, the brother, he used to say, yeah, Hamza, all I ask you to do is leave. That's all I ask. And I used to be like, and used to be there sometimes. I used to be like, man, these dudes, man, you know, because what I'm saying is, what I'm getting at is, it's easy for us to sit here, right? And we're doing it, but I can understand someone that's not what we're headed in our head and saying, man, these dudes ain't out here no more, right? You know what I mean? But my point is that once you engage and once you really want change and you start with yourself, then, you know, other people you can surround yourself with people that'll say, man, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Man, stay on the path. Man, look, if you lead, lead. Because, you know, leading is leading yourself and the people that you love out of that situation.
Definitely.
So you got to lead, because if you fall back, then that's going to be a poor example. You know, and now they're going to follow that too. See? So, you know, man, this is, you know, I thank you. I want to say I thank you for, you know, bringing that to us to say, let's talk about this. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I wasn't even prepared to go as deep as we are. But, you know, it's good because it's there, it's inside me. You know, it's a painful place inside me that needs to be talked about and shared, you know, because, you know, we're killing each other. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, and I did a lot of, you know, psychoanalyzing and looking up, and while I was in college, in prisons, about who are we as a whole. We're only 6% of California.
That's it.
out of 44 million people, we only 6%. That's only roughly 2 million. It looked like, black on black crime and all that. It looked real big. We just killing each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? 11% in the nation.
And you look, the little girl just got killed. 19-year-old girl got killed. Was that last week the 19-year-old girl got killed? See, people don't hear about out here. But she got shot in Vallejo. Okay. But yeah, to go back, but you don't really hear on the news. But gunshots is ringing out every day. Every day. And so therefore her life matters.
Yes.
Your son's life matters. Everyone else's son's life. So when these things going on, we got to start. I don't care. We putting posters up, we use our phones for everything else. Man, that's wrong. That's wrong. How can we change this here? You know what I mean? Because, and again, what you just said is profound. Because people are gonna see us on here and say, okay, hold on, man, my brother just got killed yesterday.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? My daddy just got shot. Or my mama, or whoever, you know what I mean? What is y'all doing? And so, for everyone out there in the world, just know, our message is not incomplete because we've been through it. We've taken what we know as a shared experience and given it to the world from Richmond on out. Not in, but we taking it from in and giving it to everyone by our example. To not mislead anyone. So we just want everyone to know and understand that.
Most definitely. And like I said, before, we need to get back to the love, to the serious love. And I was just reflecting on what you were just saying, Hamza, about, if we see somebody, being out of pocket or doing something dumb, like I said, it's our responsibility, to step up. And I can remember a situation, young brother, get into it with one of the brothers out of SAC, behind some dope transaction. And I hit the yard. I can see, the Richmond car, they over there, they mean mugging like they ready to take off, on the SAC car. And mind you, you got the Richmond table right here, you got the SAC table right here.
I remember that.
Just yesterday, y'all was kicking it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I hit the yard one morning and I see this. I'm like, man, what's going on? I'm like, man, fool, tell me he ain't get the money, man. My folks say they sent the money. For a 50, what a 50 bundle. So I'm like, who? Man, the fool big twin. Want to run around like he okay, whatever. Anyway, so I like, man, I'm gonna go holler at these dudes. So I go holler at the brother. I say, man, twin, check this out. I say, man, the man say his folks sent it. Well, my folks say they ain't got it. I say, okay. Well, can he give you half? Can he give you $25? Oh no, I gave him. I say, okay, I already see where this going. So my point is this: is that I want to diffuse this because I mess with cats out of SAC.
Right.
We all mess with cats out of SAC. And like I say, y'all were just messing with them yesterday. So now we finna allow this to separate us? I say, no, that ain't. I tell you what, Big Eddie, write me out a $50 list and I'll go get what you need up out the store. But from now, don't do no business with that dude. And I'm finna go get at him, let him know. You know what I'm saying? Don't be buying no more drugs, while you up in here with me. Because now you finna cause a wreck. So what I'm saying is that we have to start being responsible. We can't turn the other cheek when we see something or engage in, they did what? Oh, let's go get them. No. So somebody got to be thinking clearly. Because if we are trying to be gangsters in the pen, what we gonna lead it to?
We ain't getting out.
You ain't getting out. Or you gonna take that same, you gonna bring that same mentality right back out here and get killed.
So we need
and that's happening.
So we need to start being accountable. We need to start loving each other. The right way, and we need to start being parents. Even if it ain't our kids.
Absolutely.
We got to start being parents to them. Because back in the days, Miss Jones, if she seen me out of pocket, she was gonna whoop my behind, and then go tell my grandma. Then guess what? I'm gonna get another whooping for whatever I was doing out of pocket. Yep. We need to get back to that.
We talked yesterday. They say them days are over, right? At 17 years old, you ain't even old enough to buy a beer.
Yeah.
But of going back to add what you're saying, right? You know, the antidote to a prescription for anything that's dealing with, criminal thinking and crime, is the love. The love is, our love. What we was talking, we had to be, we had to be taught that. We thought our love was, man, this broad coming to visit me in the visit room, man. She gonna make sure the whole table filled with food, man. She gonna be up there every week. You know what I mean? Regardless of what I do, she riding. That's not love. You know what I mean? That's abuse. You're abusing what you have. You're not irresponsible because you don't care how she get here. Just get here, right? So just the thrill of letting the cat know that I'm important. But love is, man, for what we was taught was one for your brother, what you want for yourself.
Exactly.
It's not a jealous, bone in my body. I'm gonna keep it 100 about that. Hey, it's okay to envy. Because if he just said, man, I want what I want to get what he got. I'm striving to get what he got, but I ain't trying to jealous the way I want to replace it. I want to knock him down, get his girl. I want to live in his house, and I want to drive that car. That's jealousy. That's a difference. You know what I mean? God said you can be envious because he said, envy those who do good, because that's gonna drive you to do good.
Yes, sir.
So you got to. That's the kind of love we got to educate on. Most definitely. Why are you jealous of him? Why are you mad at him? Because he got a big. I mean, one for your brother, you want for yourself. That's hard. Because cats be thinking, man, I can make $1 million on a block and nobody else can make nothing, and I'm cool with that. That's where all the folk and all that come in at. You know what I mean? You eating, nobody else is eating.
Want it all.
You know what I mean? And you ain't going to no events. You ain't supporting the community. You ain't. You just taking the community down. You know what I mean? And you'll knock everybody down if they disagree with you. You know what I mean? So you a cancer.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you won't know it till they actually remove you, if it comes to that. You know what I mean? But we got to be really, really careful how we say a thing. You know what I mean? What we mean when we say. And then showing them what we mean when we say. Yes. You know what I mean? For us to be authentic, It's
like, you got this social media and everybody, and they all putting out there, what's the little young rap out there in Chicago? King Von. All right. Rest in peace, King Von. Rest in peace, Mo 3.
Mo 3.
Rest in peace, Tupac. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, Biggie Smalls. All of them, right? I just bring up a few of thousands who have died, behind the rap music and the culture. And the culture is, we gonna get what we gonna get. Music is a small portion, right? Music is a very small portion of it. I want the big home. I want the cars. I want the jewelry. I want all the women. I want to go to the club and be who I want to be in a club because, as you were saying earlier, they don't know who they are. So the drinks, the jewelry, the money, put the mask on them. Make them, they become another shell of themselves. So once they take everything off and they get behind the prison walls, or they go into the courtroom and everybody got that jumpsuit on, everybody looking the same now. And we've seen it many times. They get inside them holding tanks. Listen, they get inside them holding tanks, nervous and scared. So you got all the money, jury. That's good for right now. So use it, capitalize off of it. Remember, the game is not to stay in it forever. The music business, use it not to kill, use it to love, honor, respect your fellow brothers, your fellow sisters, your mothers, your dads, those who are there for you. If they're not there for you, get those in your lives who are going to be there for you so you can do the right things with your count, because one thing is going to happen. You're going to make it, not be educated on how to keep it, and they're going to take it from you. Not just your friends, but the system. They will take it from you.
Most definitely. And then, let me touch on this too. Like I said earlier, like I said, I do feel a little bit responsible for a lot of the things that's going on today. And like I said, because when I caught my case, 87, wasn't nobody, being active like that. People weren't getting killed like that. And it seemed like after I caught my case, cats just started turning on each other, just, gunning cats down. Cats just, slept in the same bed, stayed over each other's house, then hustled together. It's like, what happened? So, yes, I do feel a little bit responsible, because of what I did. And I'm not saying, we started this because I'm no means. I mean, because life was going to, take its course regardless of what we did, back in the days. But I just want, the people to know that, when we take a life, man, we taking the community life. We destroying our families. We destroying the victims' family, their friends. And we have to really think about that because that pain, it runs deep, real, real deep. And it's sad because it's like when you take a life like it's nothing. And that ain't cool. So we have to think about, the people that we are hurting when we toting these guns. Even I'm gonna take it a little farther than that. Even when we selling drugs to our own, we still got to be accountable for that. Destroying the community. I mean, so being this lifestyle, we affecting our own at a very alarming rate, and that's sad. So it's like, man, let's come together. Let's like I said before, let's band, unite, and do what we need to do to save our youth. To save our parents. I mean, because as a black individual, brother, brown brother, sisters, I mean, we losing, and it's sad. We losing at an alarming rate, and we need to get back to to caring about each other, loving each other, respecting each other. I mean, really respect, because there's no respect out here. And like I said, let's just band together. And like I said before, I'm truly sorry for the pain and the damage that I caused, because I never in life thought it would be like it is right now. This is crazy. This is sad.
I just want to close with this, saying that, man, I almost maybe had a tear in my eye for that. But I want to just add that in closing is that it takes a village, it takes a community, it takes a city, it takes a nation to tackle this issue.
Yes.
And secondly is that, making amends. This is what you just said. You're making amends. You know what I mean? You're making amends, and we got to be sorry for the actions we did. But it's just sorry and apology is two different things too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're really sorry because you got caught, but you apologize because you affected somebody by your actions. Mm-hmm. So those are two things that's very impactful that we got to be certain of. And then again, I just want to say that we got to lead by example. Exactly. And we got to be approachable. We got to make time for those who don't have time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it just start with us. We got to really, really get back to how we was in the 70s and 80s. Not so much for economic wise, but the social dynamic. When we had uncles that come over here, and our mama said, "Man, he been acting up in school. Man, where he at?" I'm like, "Damn, my uncle tripping." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We ain't got no respect. We ain't got that. We don't even. I've been out, man, trying to find my family, man. In closing, and when I find them, it's like I got to really work hard to engage them. It's just like, okay, we cuss, all right, man. All right, cousin. You know what I mean? We don't have that no more. We got to build that from the root all the way back up. I just want to say, I appreciate that, man. We just start this chapter of many chapters. Yes, sir. And thank God that we're able to share it with you, brother.
And as always, as we closing, thank Brother Don, thank Brother Raven for being here, for opening up these doors and opening arms to us. And again, thank everyone out there. We are men who are on the change, 100 years. And yes, we have hurt many people, and we striving through our actions to serve those who we hurt, those who we know, and those who we don't know. And we are 100 years.